You ever hear something so raw, so real, that it doesn't just hit your ears, it echoes in your soul? That's Maya Angelou. Her words don't just inspire, they disrupt the noise in your head. And if you're scrolling right now, pause. Not for me, for you. Because if you've been looking for something real in a world full of filters and empty quotes, you just found it. This isn't just a speech. It's a mirror. It's a challenge. It's a moment. And if you stay with me, I promise you won't leave the same. We all want to believe the best in people. It's human. We hold on to hope. We tell ourselves, oh, maybe they didn't mean it like that, or they'll change. But the truth, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Not after they hurt you the second or third time, the first time. That first moment when your gut says something's off, when your energy dips around them, when their words don't match their actions, that is the moment to listen. You see, people don't accidentally reveal their true selves. They do it in small ways, in jokes that sting, in silences that speak louder than words, in choices they make when they think no one's watching. And we're so busy loving their potential that we miss the pattern. But potential isn't a promise, and love can't fix what someone refuses to change. Sometimes we don't want to accept the truth because it would mean walking away. It would mean starting over. It would mean admitting we were wrong. But holding on to someone just because you've known them long doesn't mean they're good for your spirit. History isn't healing. Time spent doesn't equal peace earned. We convince ourselves they didn't mean it, that they were just having a bad day. But how many bad days are you supposed to excuse before you call it what it is? How many pieces of yourself are you willing to lose to keep someone else comfortable? And this isn't about being cold. It's not about judging people harshly or expecting perfection. It's about protecting your heart. It's about knowing that your peace is worth more than second-guessing someone's intentions every time they speak. The truth is, people are consistent. Not always with their words, but definitely with their actions. If someone shows you disrespect early on, believe them. If they ignore your boundaries once, believe them. If they make you feel small in order to feel big, believe them. Because what we allow is what continues. And if you keep rewriting the same red flag into a love story, eventually it'll stop being about them and start being about you. You are not here to beg for bare minimum. You are not here to be an emotional punching bag for someone's unresolved pain. You are here to be loved in full, not in fragments. And the first step to that is believing the truth you're shown the very first time. Life doesn't always ask for your permission before it changes everything. One moment things feel stable, then suddenly everything's upside down. The plans fall apart, the people leave, the ground underneath doesn't feel solid anymore, and in that chaos, it's easy to think you've lost control. But here's the truth. You never had full control to begin with. The only thing you've ever truly owned is how you respond. Things will happen that you didn't ask for, things that hurt, things that shake your confidence and make you question who you even are. And when those moments come, and they will, you have a choice. Let it define you or let it teach you. Most people get stuck in the pain. They replay the moment. They hold on to what was lost like it's the only part of their story that matters. But pain doesn't have to be permanent. It can be a teacher instead of a prison. Some things you won't get closure on. Some people won't ever say sorry. Some situations won't make sense no matter how many times you analyze them. But you don't need the pieces to be perfect before you start healing. You don't need the story to end clean for it to still matter. What you do need is to stop letting it own you. You get to decide what to carry forward and what to leave behind. You don't have to be angry forever. You don't have to be broken forever. You're allowed to rewrite the meaning of what happened. Not erase it, not pretend it didn't hurt, but rise above it slowly and surely. That's power. You'll meet parts of yourself you didn't know existed when life forces you to rebuild. You'll learn how deep your roots really go. You'll learn how strong you really are when you have no choice but to be. And no, you may not control the storm, but you can choose not to let it turn you into someone bitter, guarded, or hard. There's freedom in accepting what you can't change. There's even more freedom in realizing it doesn't get to define your whole identity. You are still the author. You still get to decide what happens next. Life might have thrown you into the fire, but you still get to choose whether you rise from the ashes or stay buried in them. Everyone wants the result, but no one really talks about the process. People admire strength, beauty, peace, but they forget what it costs to get there. The butterfly looks effortless, floating through the air like it was born for freedom. But before it ever had wings, it was in the dark, silent, still, wrapped in a place that probably felt like the end. That place, the cocoon. And that's where most people quit. Growth doesn't look inspiring while it's happening. It looks messy. It feels confusing. It's uncomfortable. And most of the time, it's lonely. You don't get applause in the middle of healing. Every time you set a boundary, even if it feels uncomfortable, that's courage. Every time you try again after failing, that's courage too. There's this false idea that brave people feel strong all the time. But most of the bravest people have moments of doubt. They cry, they break. They second guess everything. But what makes them different is that they don't stay there. They allow the feeling, then they take the next step anyway. That next step, no matter how small, it counts. Courage can also look like walking away from something you once prayed for. It can mean starting over from scratch. It can mean being honest with yourself about what you need, even if it changes everything. Being brave isn't just about facing the world. It's about facing yourself. It's about looking at the parts of you that need healing and not turning away. That's not weakness. That's deep, quiet bravery. You don't need to wait for the fear to disappear before you move. It might never fully go away, but the more you show up despite it, the stronger you become. Each time you do the hard thing, you prove to yourself that you're capable, not perfect. Not invincible, but capable. And sometimes that's all you need to keep going. The people who keep choosing to rise, even with shaking hands and a heavy heart, those are the ones truly living with courage. The world can feel heavy. Everyone's moving fast, stuck in their own problems, carrying invisible weights no one sees. And sometimes the smallest kindness can feel like light breaking through a thick, gray sky. Being that light doesn't always take something big. It's often in the quiet moments, a gentle word, a soft smile, a little patience when someone else is struggling. You never really know what someone is going through. And sometimes the smallest act of grace changes everything for them. It's easy to think you have to fix people's problems to make a difference. But being a light doesn't mean solving things. It means being present, being real, being kind even when you don't know the full story. Sometimes just showing someone that they're seen, that they're not invisible is enough to shift their whole day, maybe even their life. There's something powerful about choosing softness in a world that teaches you to be hard. When you decide not to let bitterness shape you, when you choose love over ego, patience over reaction, that's real strength. That's what makes you a light. It's not about being perfect or always knowing what to say. It's about choosing compassion even when it would be easier to shut down and walk away. People won't always remember what you did. They might forget your name, your face, your exact words, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That feeling stays, that warmth, that sense of safety. That moment where they didn't feel judged or rushed or ignored, that matters more than we think. Sometimes being the light also means holding space for someone when they don't have the words yet. Not fixing, just listening, not filling the silence, just being there in it. That kind of presence speaks louder than advice ever could. And it doesn't cost you anything to be kind, but it means everything to someone who needs it. The world has enough noise, enough pressure, enough sharp edges. So when you choose to bring gentleness into a hard moment, you're doing more than you know. Maybe someone out there is one kind word away from not giving up. Maybe your small act is the only light they'll see that day. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of impact that really matters. Wanting something isn't enough. Dreaming about it, thinking about it, talking about it, that's the easy part. The hard part? Showing up every single day, even when the motivation isn't there. Even when no one claps, even when no one sees you. That's the part most people avoid. Because deep down, we all want results, but not everyone's willing to do the slow, boring, unglamorous work that gets us there. There's this idea floating around that if something is meant for you, it'll just happen. But the truth is, nothing works unless you do. Purpose doesn't chase people who are waiting. It meets people who are moving, even if they're moving slowly. You can't sit still and hope the door opens. You've got to walk toward it, knock, and keep knocking until it does. Success, healing, peace, they're all a process. And they take effort. Consistent effort. Not just when it feels good, but also when it's frustrating, when it's confusing. When it feels like nothing's happening. That's where most people give up. Not because they couldn't do it, but because they didn't stay with it long enough to see it through. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to have the best connections or the perfect plan. What matters more is discipline. Showing up when it's inconvenient. Taking one step forward even when the path isn't clear. No shortcuts. Just consistent choices that build something real over time. There will be days where you don't feel like trying. Days where it feels like nothing's changing. But that doesn't mean the work isn't working. Seeds grow underground before they ever break the surface. You might not see it yet, but progress is still happening. Don't wait for motivation. Build a habit. Build a system. Build something steady enough that it keeps moving, even when you don't feel like moving. Because eventually, effort adds up, and the person who stays consistent will always go further than the one who waits for the perfect moment. No one else can do your work for you. No one else can live your life for you. It's on you, your choices, your effort, your belief. That's where everything begins. Not with luck, not with timing, but with showing up every single day and doing what needs to be done. This isn't just about motivation. It's about reminding you who you really are, not the version life tried to break, not the one that plays small to keep people comfortable, the one with fire in your chest, with purpose in your bones, with something real to give this world. And maybe today you needed to remember that.